Welcome back to ADHD Whiskey. My name is Matt, and today we are reviewing a brand new whiskey from the Bardstown Bourbon Company. Like always, it's very important for me to tell you that this bottle was sent to me from Bardstown Bourbon Company. I'm not being paid for this review. I'm not being swindled to do this review. They never asked for a review. They never asked for nothing. They just sent it and said enjoy. I will do my very best to give an open and honest review of this product, but I want to be as transparent as possible so that you, the viewer, know that me on this side of the camera got this bottle for free. Now, with that being said, this is the new Discovery. This is Discovery Series 7 from Bardstown Bourbon Company. This Bardstown Bourbon Company Discovery Series number 7 isn't a bourbon anymore. No longer a bourbon. This is a blended whiskey. It rings in at 114.5 proof, and its mash bill is what some doctors would call unique. I am not a medical doctor, but some people consider me the doctor of bourbon. Now step into my office while I read you its chart. This blended whiskey is made up of 31% 12-year Kentucky bourbon, 25% 12-year Kentucky bourbon with a different mash bill, 21% Ontario 100% corn whiskey, that's Canada, 15% Indiana rye whiskey, but not the rye whiskey that we're used to. No, this rye whiskey has a mash bill of 51% rye, 45% corn, and 4% malted barley. And the remaining 8% is 17-year Tennessee whiskey. America. Light cork again. Not sure if they're ever going to go back to the heavy home intruder stopping device that they used to plug these bottles with, but it still looks sharp, even if it's not as high of quality as past releases. While I swirl and twirl this blended girl, it's just spinning and swirling. This dude is getting dizzy. Look at it go. Look at it go. So fast, not slow. It's just moving in that glass. So fast. And now we stop. We say a quick prayer. Amen. And now we take a smell. What the hell? That smells good. If I were a fruit fly, I would definitely be attracted to this whiskey because this is so sweet. I'd crash land and drown in it, if you know what I mean. Tons of fruit, tons of sweetness, angel food cake, cherry frosting, raspberries, pie crust, Mike and Ike candies, edible underpants, cherry. Tons of sweetness, tons of doughiness, tons of greatness. This nose is so good. There's not a ton of deep, dark notes coming off the nose. It's a bit brighter, but not in like a stingy, bright way. It doesn't make you go, ee! Chewy spree. Yeah, chewy spree. Shout out to Stuff and Whiskey on YouTube for that tasting note and for being a very attractive couple. Speaking of attractiveness, I'm attracted to this a lot. It keeps developing in the glass. The nose is developing and enveloping my senses with goodness. If you like sweet, sugary, fruity whiskeys, very oily too. Coats the glass really well. The legs are forming and running slowly, like me in snow pants. Discovery 7 smells great, has an awesome nose. Now let's put this bugger where the heartburn goes, down the hatch. That was a big sip, and I am enjoying it. First sip, flavor's great, palate great, finish great, really enjoyed it. But the first sip doesn't matter, not around here. Ignore the first sip. Let's pretend like that never happened. But if we did that, then this would be the first sip. So we must acknowledge that the first sip existed, but we must discredit it. Sip number 2. Let's see how she do. Oh, Timmy plays with tannerite. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Whew. 2 big sips in, and I'm here to tell you that that is fantastic. Series 7 is fantastic. It's creamy. It's sweet. There's some oak characteristics kind of playing around in there. I've had this bad baby open for about a week, and that 1 week worked wonders on this blended biatch. It's sweet strawberry cream that tastes like the pink Charleston Chew. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be strawberry or cherry. I'm not sure what flavor it's supposed to be, but that's what this tastes like. That pink inside of the Charleston Chew with the thin chocolate coating around it, and it just stretches. There's a lot of bourbon flavors at play here, a lot of traditional bourbon flavors, but on top of the bourbon flavors is like a sweet, viscous corn syrup, the sweetest, most viscous corn syrup that just lays over it. It's like a glaze of sweet, high fructose yumminess. Strawberry milk. Yeah, strawberry milk, like the Nesquik. Hell yeah. I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of people who really love this whiskey. 2 Kentucky bourbons, a Tennessee whiskey, a Canadian corn whiskey, and a rye whiskey from Indiana got blended together, and they melded and turned into a friggin' Megan Fox if you're into chicks, or a Matt Porter if you're into dudes, of a whiskey. I haven't seen any other reviews for the Discovery Series 7 yet, so I haven't been swayed one way or another. I don't know what people think about it. All I know is what I think about it. And what I think about it is this is a remarkably well blended whiskey. The sweetness of the bourbon and the corn whiskey, I think, is met and matched nicely with that rye whiskey from Indiana. That rye isn't like a super rye powered rye. It's only 51% rye, but it's enough to take the sweetness of the bourbon and the corn whiskey and kind of like taper it off and add a little bit of spice, which makes this Discovery Series 7 a delight. This bottle was a gift, but I believe I will be buying a backup, maybe 2. Might buy a couple backups. Bardstown Bourbon Company, Discovery Series number 7, blended whiskey, receives a score from me tonight of, gosh, 8.6? An 8.6? It's really good. Like, really exceptionally good. This is an exceptional whiskey. So yeah, this is a winner. This is something that I'm going to purchase more of, even though they're pretty expensive. If you're a fan of the Discovery Series from Bardstown, if you're a fan of super sweet viscous whiskeys, then I would say this is a buy. I'm also anxious to see what other whiskey tube idiots out there think of this bottle. You know, the usual suspects, the smash and run, the urban junkies, I whiskey and do whatever she wants, whiskey and stuff, bourbon bits, blind guy bourbon, this is my bourbon, it's bourbon tonight, the pod crash, dumbs and dams, the bourbon ranch, curiously pubic, whoa, men of whiskeys, whiskey hills, destination anything but YouTube, droopy whiskey, abandonment bourbon, rotting guts, and reviews. I'm curious to see what others think, curious to see other reviews on this. I don't know. You obviously won't be bourbon of the year because you're not a bourbon, but you're a frisky blended whiskey. My name is Matt, this is ADHD Whiskey, and like I always say, keep your head in the clouds, but your mind on getting some quality sleep. There's a lot of people out there who aren't sleeping like they should be, including me. But I'm not here to talk about me. I'm here to talk about you and your problems. How many hours are you getting every night? 8? That's too much. Probably want to hover around. Actually, probably don't want to tell people about how much sleep they can get. That's medical advice, even though it's kind of borderline not. I'm going to go ahead and switch the subject and ask you, when's the last time you got an oil change? 3,000 miles? That's not enough. Well, probably shouldn't give automobile maintenance advice either, because not a mechanic. Although a few girls have called me that when I went under their hood.